Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Barnabas Health. Life is better healthy. Kessler Foundation, changing the lives of people with disabilities. Investors Bank. Johnson & Johnson. AmeriHealth Caritas, parent company of Perform Care. Care is the heart of our work. The Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, founded by the Jewish community. And by New Jersey Natural Gas, proud to support education in our communities. Promotional support provided by The Star Ledger, powering NJ.com, and by Commerce Magazine.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
I love it.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. It is my honor, my pleasure to welcome from Jersey City, New Jersey,
Yes.
Maureen Walliser.
Good morning, Steve.
Who is Vice President, Strategic Planning, Hudson Community Enterprises, a great organization that is part of our initiative that is being done with the Kessler Foundation. You employ people with disabilities. You do very important work. And started when? When was the organization started?
1957.
With an eye toward?
Employment.
Okay, a niche, right? Right? A niche that was not being dealt with. And people with disabilities not being addressed. Why did the organization know that people with disabilities being ignored and had so much to contribute? How did you know that?
If you spend time with a person with a disability and you have a conversation, you will be very impressed. People with disabilities are from all over. They cross every ethnic group. They come from small cities, large cities. They have a broad range of interest and specifically skills. And we saw the high unemployment rate of persons with disabilities.
How high?
Up to about 70%.
What?
7 out of 10 people with disabilities are not working.
7 out of 10?
Correct. And in the best of times, it's hard to find a job for anyone.
Yes.
And in the worst of times, especially for a person with a disability, it's even harder. So our organization focused on employment since 1957. Although we've changed a bit in the way we did that, in that about 6 years ago, we were only focusing on job placement in the private sector.
So it was only, you were getting people with disabilities placed in private sector businesses?
Correct.
Go ahead. How did that change?
Well, about 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago, when the economy really went into a crisis mode.
In 2008-ish?
7-ish was when we started. We said, this is really difficult. We can't find jobs. So we began to focus on job creation. And what we did is that we identified a range of business lines that we felt offered opportunity. So we tried to find some initial financing to get into some of these businesses, and that was very difficult.
Oh, what are we looking at right now? Some of the video we're looking at right now. That's actually your operation?
Yes. That's actually someone scanning documents for a corporation.
So document scanning? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Which is an important part of the whole portfolio of jobs. But go ahead. I digress. I'm sorry. So you're thinking about job opportunities, lines of businesses that could be created, right?
Correct.
Go ahead.
Correct. And in 2006 and 7, when we began to look at these lines of business, there was a whole thing going on with identity theft.
Right.
People were starting to think even greener than they used to. People were drowning in paper. And we said, hey, this seems like a really viable area that we could get involved in. So we started the shredding business. We got a truck. We took the truck on the road, and we began to do shredding at corporation sites.
Right.
And in doing so, we got a customer base that coincidentally, a year later, when we had funding for the document scanning business, we could also knock at their door. They knew us, they knew the quality of our work.
Right.
So hence, we picked up a lot of customers from that initial group of 50. The scanning business in its first year employed about 20 people, And now, 6 years later, it employs 125 people.
Amazing.
And after the scanning business, we said, we need to keep looking for another business line. So
Very entrepreneurial.
Very entrepreneurial. We identified the whole area of building management services.
Building management services.
Correct.
And by the way, so hold on, I want to be clear.
Yes.
So all of these jobs that we're talking about being filled by people with
Disabilities. So we identified the area of building management services, and we started the business, and that was also 6 years ago. And today, that business employs 150 people. So we have a total of about 200 and 300 people with disabilities, and I'm really happy that we've been able to get a lot of work through the state of New Jersey.
Right.
New Jersey has something called a state use law, which sets aside certain products and services to be done by persons with disabilities because the state recognizes the high unemployment rate.
Connect back, because you were saying before we got on the air, by the way, I mistook your accent. I thought it was a Boston accent. It's actually from Jersey City. That's why I was teasing you about that. It's amazing.
I love it. That's never happened in my life.
Okay, and I thought you might have been a Red Sox fan, but you know,
No.
you're a Yankee fan, so everything's good. I digress. But here's the thing that's interesting. The Kessler Foundation connection. You were saying, hey, we have these great ideas at our nonprofit, but the question about where you get the dollars to start these, how did you describe those businesses?
Social enterprise businesses.
Okay, that a not-for-profit would start these social enterprise businesses that would not look to just make money for the sake of making money, but to be driven, those dollars be driven back into the nonprofit, right?
Correct.
And the Kessler Foundation did what?
The first time we approached them for a grant, we received a $100,000 grant, and we used that to start the document imaging business.
Right.
A year later, we were ready to expand the business, and being very entrepreneurial, we again went back to the Kessler Foundation, so they gave us a second grant.
Amazing.
3 years later, we wanted to expand the business again, and we wanted to add a digital mailroom component, and we went back to the Kessler Foundation. They've supported us, Steve, for, I guess, 5 grants, and
Right.
they've probably given us close to $1 million.
Now let's talk about the payoff, the impact that all this has had on the approximately 300 people with disabilities. What impact has it had on them, and also the impact they have had on society?
Tremendous impact. I guess very basic is the fact that these 300 individuals last year earned over $6 million in wages.
$6 million.
$6 million in wages. From that $6 million, they helped the federal government and the state government and their local government through the taxes that they paid.
Paying taxes.
Correct.
Contributing to the economy.
Exactly.
Creating other jobs because they're contributing to the economy.
Right. And also, individuals with disabilities do what we do. They shop, they eat out, so they support the local businesses in their community. It's a win-win situation. And one more thing, a lot of individuals with disabilities were collecting Social Security disability prior to coming into our businesses.
And now no longer.
And now no longer.
Which means no longer taking those dollars from taxpayers through the government. By the way, real quick, before I let you go, the high school initiative.
Oh, we have a program for high school students. We've had it for 20 years. Basically, it's to encourage youth with disabilities to consider what they want to do when they leave high school in terms of employment. So our program is a 4-year program. Students come to us in their freshman year, and they're with us freshman year through senior year. Half day they attend their host high school for the academics, and the other half day they're with us, but they're not with us in our building. We work with about 15 companies in the area, and the students are based in groups of 7 at those different businesses with the intent that they will become aware of careers in those industries, explore those jobs, and receive some basic training in those jobs so that the day they graduate, they will have a goal in terms of employment.
How much do you love what you do?
I love it.
Because?
Working with individuals with disabilities, seeing their ability to get a job, to advance in employment, that's what it's all about.
It is, isn't it?
You meet anyone who does not work. You meet someone who works. you go to a party, Steve, the first question you're asked is, what do you do for, well, not you, because everyone knows what you do, but what do you do for a living?
Yeah, the greatest question is not just what you do, but when people are able to talk about what they do and how much they love what they do.
Correct.
And making a difference. Well, you are making a difference, Kessler's making a difference, but the people who you're helping are making a difference. It's people with disabilities, and it's a great thing. By the way, the website for Hudson Community Enterprises, been up the entire program. Go on the site, find out what they're doing. That's why we're doing the series.
That's wonderful.
Well, we're all in this thing together. And by the way, you are from Jersey City, proud from Jersey City. Your kids make fun of you because of your accent. You told me that, right?
That's correct.
And you've done very well being with us. Thank you so much, Maureen. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Glad to be partners.
Have a good day.
Stay with us one-on-one. We'll be right back right after this.
If you would like more information on this program, or if you'd like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Visit us online at oneonone.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato. Dr. Maureen Murphy is president of Brookdale Community College. It's very, very good to have you with us, Doctor.
Thank you.
You have an initiative that is fascinating. We've interviewed many of your colleagues at the community county colleges, but you have an initiative in connection with Neptune High School that it seems to be unprecedented. Describe it.
Well, thank you. We do have a very exciting initiative that we're starting with Neptune Township School District.
Is it called something?
It's called the Poseidon Early College High School, and it's part of the Early College High School movement, which has been around for about 10 years and is really starting to take hold. And this is the first full-blown early college high school in New Jersey.
How early?
It's the students will start with us in the 9th grade. Students are identified, accepted into this program. They're high school students, and they will be pulled away from the rest of the high school community, their pull-out program, and they will be taking college-level courses on our campus at the same time they're taking their high school courses. And by the time they graduate from high school, they will have an associate degree.
Wait a minute. Are you saying freshmen, sophomores? Then?
Yes.
A freshman in Neptune High School will have the opportunity to be taking college courses at your institution.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How are these students selected?
All right, the high school has developed a grid for selecting these students. One of the most important pieces is that these students have to be first-generation college students.
First generation?
Yes, we're targeting people who are the first person ever in their family to go to college.
Why?
Because those students really have a difficult time making the transition if there's nobody in their family to help them through it and to tell them what college is all about. I'll give you an example.
Sure.
We've been to college. We know that 15 credits is a full-time load.
Yes.
You say 15 hours to a family who has no concept, and they don't understand why the kid can't work 30 hours a week. So it's...
Put that in context.
That's right. It helps these folks be more successful. It gives them support. And by the time they're seniors in high school and they already have an associate degree, their opportunities for baccalaureate completion just soar.
How does it change their lives?
I think we know that educational attainment is the most significant economic change agent in any family. And what we envision will happen is the lives of these kids and their families and their communities are going to be forever changed. These children will have opportunities that they don't even understand now. And I'm pretty excited about it. I think we're catching those people who get lost, the ones who fall between the cracks. Well, the students are often, because they don't have those parents who are pushing them into all those programs that are going to line them up for all the advantages of college, they don't see them.
Right.
And so this is a way that they get mentored early on, brought into the college environment. They will be their college classes will be with other college students, regular age college students. And so they'll learn the culture of going to college.
But doctor, isn't that daunting, overwhelming, scary for some of these students?
Well, that's where the student support piece is so important.
Student support? Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
That means that there will be a strong counseling, advising, and support presence from both Neptune Township School District and Brookdale Community College to help guide these students. Initially, though.
So, for example,
okay,
a 15-year-old student from Neptune High School has no concept as to what a college experience is like. He or she comes onto the Brookdale campus, overwhelmed, right? How do you help them?
Well, first of all, they're selected into the program. There is an orientation component, not just for the students, but for their families. So everybody understands what the expectations are. The 9th grade kids will only be taking 2 college-level courses in that year. And most of the other courses that they'll be taking will be pretty rigorous pre-AP high school courses.
AP, Advanced Placement?
Pre-AP. So they're the ones getting, so it's getting them ready for the college level. It'll be pretty academically rigorous. Because they're in a cohort group, they rise to that expectation. They really do. By the time they're juniors, most of their courses will be college level courses. They'll be much more comfortable. They'll be integrated with the entire population. And the first 3 years, they're going to be in our Neptune location, which is located right across from the high school.
Right. So they're not traveling.
They're not traveling. They're going to be right across the street from where everybody else that was in 8th grade with them is going. And the senior year, they will be on our campus in Lincroft, our largest one.
Where are the safeguards? When you know a student's starting to have trouble, where's the safety net?
I think that's a very good question. And it's a question we ask for all of our students. We do have a pretty sophisticated monitoring system where, if a student has an attendance problem, starts to slip, we try to do interventions to bring them back where they are. We're going to have 2 school systems watching these particular students. So both the college and the high school will have to work very closely together to make sure that we don't have that slip.
You know what's interesting? You're from Texas?
I am.
Did you do something like this there?
I did.
And you brought this here?
I did.
When you first said, hey, I have this idea for us to do here in New Jersey because I had some success in Texas, was the first reaction, oh, great, we'll try it? Or was it, are you kidding me? Well, this is Jersey.
Actually, it went...
change, you ever read Who Moved My Cheese?
I have.
So you know my point.
Okay. Actually, it didn't play out quite that way. I had the opportunity to meet the Neptune Township superintendent.
School superintendent.
Yes, his name is David Moy, and he's quite an amazing individual.
Did he get it right away?
He did, and we talked about different kinds of partnerships and initiatives, and we already have some with Neptune that are very, very productive. And about a month and a half later, he walked into my office and he said, that early college thing, let's do it.
You're kidding.
So we said, okay.
You had a partner.
We did. He ponied up. His vision was powerful. We brought together the teams of academic and student affairs folks from the school district and from us. They mapped the curriculum. They figured it all out. And we're going to be enrolling our first class in September.
Who Said Change Is Not Possible? By the way, the reference I made to Who Moved My Cheese, written by Dr. Spencer Johnson, a wonderful book. The reason I like it is because the print is really thick.
Oh, there you go.
Right? And a great story, right?
It is a good story.
About how change is so difficult. And those who fight it and think the status quo is an option, they're wrong, right?
Especially now.
Especially now. Dr. Maureen Murphy is the president of Brookdale Community College, and she knows that change is the only constant. Thank you very much. We appreciate it, Doctor.
Thank you.
Stay with us one-on-one. We'll be right back right after this.
If you would like more information on this program, or if you'd like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Visit us online at oneonone.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Marshall Jones III, producing artistic director, Crossroads Theater Company. Good to see you.
Good to be here.
For those who do not know about Crossroads, describe it and why it's such a special place.
Well, in 1999, we won the Tony Award for Outstanding Regional Theater, the only African-American company to achieve that status. And we focus on giving an honest portrayal that will celebrate our history and culture.
Why is it so unique to have a place like Crossroads, not just in New Jersey, but in this country? Not easy to do.
It's not, particularly, in the current economic climate and so many technological changes. But I think it's important because the basic elements of storytelling happens in theater. You know, there's no special effects or anything, and you're sitting down in a dark room with strangers and seeing people experience things right in front of you. So with us, in dealing with stories that cover the entire African diaspora, I think it can be really compelling because you're getting an honest, authentic portrayal because we know how to tell our stories because we live them.
It's interesting, we know how to tell our stories, but the audience is not just for African Americans.
Absolutely not.
Play that out.
Well, I think it's important because you know, what we try to do on stage is not just present one particular point of view. We're also interested in looking at the intersection of our culture and how it meshes with others.
For example?
And we have a holiday show called Holiday Jubilee.
Holiday Jubilee.
Holiday Jubilee, and it comes each and every year. My good buddy, Broadway fight choreographer Rick Sordelay, directs it. And we show how different cultures celebrate the holiday spirit. Kids go free, they sit down on the floor and the mats experiencing the show. So that's just one example. Another example is Ricardo Khan, the founder of Crossroads.
Yeah, we had him. When we first started this series, one-on-one, on a different network, Comcast Network, one of our first guests, a great man.
Yes, Mr. Khan, he's still involved in Crossroads. He's kind of my godfather, my kind of spiritual and creative advisor. And he found a young playwright called Rajiv Joseph. He just had a play on Broadway starring Robin Williams in Bengal Tiger, and commissioned him to write a play about whatever he wants. But, you know, obviously, since it's for us, it had to have our, you know, something of African American. And he wrote a brilliant play. It was just done in Chicago at Silk Road Rising, and it won the Jefferson Award for Best New Play. That's like the Chicago version of a Tony Award.
Right.
And we'll be doing it at Crossroads next season.
The economics. I mean, the economics of public broadcasting, fascinating in and of itself.
Absolutely, yes.
Finding the dollars to do what we do, finding the dollars to do what you do.
Wow.
I didn't mean to get that reaction from you, but go ahead.
Well, no, I listen, and you know, you have your sponsors and things like that, and I think that's great. I can't, you know, kind of sugarcoat it. I mean, this economy has really been hard. I remember
who ponies up?
The Geraldine R. Dodge Foundation has been very, very supportive. The New Jersey State Council on the Arts have been very, very supportive. And a lot of our community, you know, we have people who have been involved with Crossroads since the very beginning. And you know those beginnings when you had to go up those stairs on Memorial Parkway. I was a student at Rutgers and just marveled at the place.
Were you at Mason Gross?
I was at Mason Gross, yes.
Hell of a place.
Yeah, and I teach there now too, so that's kind of exciting. Never thought in a million years that would happen. But getting back to the economics, so we have individuals that support us, but it's really been hard. I was interviewed right around the time of the crash, and the reporter asked me, you know, how are you doing? And it's like, well, you're an African American company, so you know we're used to the crumbs, but now there are no crumbs.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because you know, everybody's hurting.
I'll tell you what, we can complain about the crumbs, which you are not doing. We shift gears and talk about what's happening in the next few months, in this year, and drive people to the site, which we're about to do right now. Talk about what's exciting this year.
Well, there's a novelist named Walter Mosley, and you know, he's written like 20 bestsellers. He's a great crime mystery novelist. But what he actually is, he's a great storyteller. And he's written plays. And his agent sent me these plays, and I could not put them down. I mean, it's riveting. So we're going to be doing a world premiere of a play that he wrote called Lift.
Lift.
Lift. It takes place in an elevator. And what happens is there's a terrorist attack, a homegrown terrorist attack. So our couple are trapped in the elevator.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Give me one more.
Well, I mentioned Rajiv Joseph,
Okay.
that will be opening up in the fall of next year. That's called The Lake Effect. And that play looks at a relationship of a young African-American male who goes into an Indian restaurant, and the owner has passed away, and the young son is kind of, you know, taking things over and deciding whether to sell the place or not. And the young African customer knows a lot more about his father than the actual son.
Make the pitch for those who have never been to Crossroads as to why they need to go there.
Because one of the things that we try to do is give our audiences an experience that they can't get anywhere else. So that it's very, our staff is very inviting, our stage is very intimate, and we try to present shows that are going to change them when they walk out the door.
How many seats?
300.
Describe what that's like, 300.
It's an intimate space because it's not, you know, like a big Broadway barn, but by the same token, it's not like you know, a little 99 seat theater. It's also a thrust stage, which means that the actual stage thrusts into the audience and is partially wrapped around it. So if you're sitting on the side, you not only see the actors, but you can see other audience members, and that's an important part of the experience.
Marshall Jones III, producing artistic director at an extraordinary place, Crossroads Theater Company in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Thank you.
Thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Barnabas Health, Kessler Foundation, Investors Bank, Johnson & Johnson, AmeriHealth Caritas, parent company of Perform Care, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, and by New Jersey Natural Gas, transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.